Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So it has been a hot minute since I've been on here, so I did want to give you a quick update. I am in a new setup, I'm sure you can see. I finally have lighting, so hopefully you can see me way better than the last time you saw me. And I have a new Poshmark room, so things are quite different around here, but it's still great. So if you don't know me, my name is Shay. If I've come from Instagram, you would know me as in my 30s, spending under 30, and I am a full-time Poshmark seller. I started back in March, and I have steadily been increasing my sales, and I feel like I am doing pretty well. Anyways, I'm sure you've seen the title of this video, but this video is going to be about Poshmark Reseller Courses. Now, they come in all different shapes and sizes, they come from all different people, but because you are investing your money in these courses, I want to make sure that you have all of the information you need to determine if it is worth it for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 5 ways you can determine whether or not that reseller course you're looking at is worth it to you. One thing I do want to say is I am not going to bash anybody in this video. I am not going to call out any particular reseller courses because there are great ones out there and there are not so great ones out there. But what I am trying to do here is give you the information you need to determine if it is worth it for you. Okay, so number 1. Is the person who is selling the course making the amount of sales that they say that they are? Now, this is tricky to find out. A lot of resellers sell on multiple platforms. They could be selling on Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, Depop. There's a billion of them out there. But if the reseller course that you are looking at is predominantly a Poshmark seller, then you are able to find out how they're doing on their Poshmark sales. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to use my closet as an example because, again, I don't want to call anybody out. But here you can see that if you go to my closet and you filter to sold items, remember, you cannot delete a sold item on Poshmark. Filter to sold items and you're going to see all of the items that I've sold. You can click on these items to see what I've sold them for. And then you can also do research if you'd like to see if I sold them for a lower price, higher price, or average price based on what other people are selling them for. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to keep track of this section for a few days. You're going to want to note how many items have been sold in the last few days. What price point are they selling these items at? What are they making? And then determine if their sales match up to what they say they are. So check out their social media. Check out wherever you found them. Are they noting that Poshmark has been slower if you've noticed their sales are slow? Have they noted that their sales have been coming from a different platform if you've noticed their sales have been slow? Or are they selling exactly what they say they are? Regardless, make sure you check that out because you want to make sure that the person you are giving your money to is being honest. Number 2, is their location similar to yours? So this is complicated because, of course, you can be a successful Poshmark seller anywhere in the world. You can be a successful Poshmark seller in a tiny town. You can be a successful Poshmark seller in a large city. You can be a successful Poshmark seller sourcing predominantly online. That is completely up to you. But when you are purchasing a course from somebody, you want to make sure that the person lives in a similar place to you and has similar opportunities to you. What I mean by that is I am from Massachusetts. So I live kind of in the burbs. I live about an hour away from the city. So I don't have a lot of access to, say, Buffalo Exchange, to the bins, all of those things. I have them, but they're going to take me longer to get to, so it's not something I'm going to source all of the time. So if you are buying a course from somebody who is a predominant bin seller, but you don't have a bins near you, that might not be useful to you. If you are somebody who is buying a Poshmark course from someone who likes to pay up for their item so they can get a higher dollar amount for that item, but you don't have any access to places like that, think Buffalo Exchange or high-end thrift stores, maybe it's not worth it to you. But what you need to do is pay attention to whether or not their opportunities in their area is similar to yours, so you can make sure that if they're giving you tips, you can use them. Number 3. So, sorry if you hear a bunch of movement. My dog is moving around the room and almost knocking over my light, so sorry for that. Anyway, number 3. Now this kind of goes hand in hand with number 2, but I want to make sure that I show you the difference. So number 3 is, are they a similar sourcer to you? And what I mean by that is, does this person sell mostly trendy brands? Does this person sell mostly jeans? Does this person sell a lot of vintage? And if that is the case, if they are one of those categories or something similar, is that the type of sourcing you like to do? Because what is important is that you enjoy what you're doing. If you start selling items just because someone else told you to, you have a higher chance of getting a death pile. And what I mean by a death pile is items you have sourced that you have not listed and they are not making you money. So it is really important that if you're going to pay money for a reseller course, that you get tips that are useful to you and that bring you money. So if you're going to follow somebody whose sourcing method is different than yours or does not bring you joy, it may not be worth it to you, because remember, we all sell differently and we all have different tips and tricks that are going to work for us, but don't pay money for tips and tricks that just don't bring you joy and in the end, don't bring money to your business. Number 4. This one is going to be controversial and I realize that, but it's important to be said. Social media following does help their sales. Now, this is going to be hotly debated because of course you can be a successful Poshmark seller and not have a good social media following, if any at all. But if you're buying a reseller course from somebody who does have a successful social media following, their sales are definitely impacted by that following. There is a psychology behind buying from someone that you see sells well because you trust them, because they've had a lot of customers, they've had a lot of experience. You trust that what you're buying from them is worth purchasing. So you are more likely to search up that reseller that you like to follow when you are looking for something that you want. Maybe you're looking for a certain brand and you know that reseller gets it. You are going to be more apt to search from them. Now, I'm not saying that because they have a successful social media following, that's why they're a successful Poshmark seller. Maybe the following came after. What I'm saying is you cannot determine the amount of sales that they're getting versus the amount of sales you're getting if you don't have the social media following that they have. It is just not apples to apples. It is not saying that they are not worth listening to. They absolutely are. But keep that in mind when you're comparing, because there are differences there that we do need to take account of. And I know people don't like to hear that, and I know a lot of resellers will tell you that is not true. But the fact is, social media following will help with sales. It just will. So that is what it is. Okay, number 5. This one is completely up to you, but I want to put it out there so that you can make this determination. Cost versus benefit. So what I'm trying to say here is, as you can tell, because you're on YouTube right now, there are plenty of free resources out there. There are YouTube videos, there are blog posts, there are Instagram, plenty of different resources out there, not to mention trial and error from you doing it yourself. So while there are a lot of free resources out there, Poshmark Reseller Courses do give you the ability to learn from people who have already done all of the hard work, and they have compacted all of that information they have learned over the years in a structured, time-efficient course. Now, if that is something useful to you, maybe you work a full-time job, maybe you work multiple jobs, and you don't have time to go through the internet and find all these resources and pull them all together and do all this trial and error, it might be worth it to you to get this nice put together course. However, if you're somebody who is really counting those dollars, and every dollar in inventory, every dollar that goes into inventory matters, and maybe you need an inventory system, and maybe a VA for sharing would be super useful, or maybe you need new lighting or something, but those dollars are counting for you, but you have that extra time to find the free resources, maybe it is not worth it for you to invest in a course. I know that there is a saying out there that you need to spend money to make money, and that is 100% true. But in the Poshmark world, I personally feel that spending money is spending money on inventory and other money-making activities. And while a reseller course can absolutely benefit you, there are other ways to get that information that you may not actually have to pay for. So really think long and hard about where you're investing those dollars and if it is worth it to you. Anyways, those are 5 ways that you can determine if a Poshmark reseller course is worth it for you. I am going to say that I personally would not use a Poshmark reseller course only because there are so many great opportunities out there, and I have learned the most from trial and error. There are a lot of brands and a lot of different styles that I would have never found from Poshmark Reseller Course. It's just something that I learned along the way. However, I am not saying that they're not worth it for some people. They absolutely are, and I've seen many success stories. But it's something that you really need to consider, and you need to really consider who you're purchasing from as well. So I'm hoping that this video will help you get some bearings around whether or not that reseller course you're looking at is worth getting. And if it is worth getting, I want to make sure you get the right one. So anyways, if you found this video useful, please let me know in the comments below, and also let me know if there are other things you'd like to hear me talk about. I am really hoping to make these videos as useful to you as possible so that you can grow your reseller business and really enjoy what you're doing. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please make sure you go and find me on Instagram in my 30s spending under 30, and I will be back very soon with a new video. Thank you again for watching.